8 years ago, I found myself at Temple University taking a class called Comedy Workshop. The class fell within my Broadcast Telecommunications degree, and in the class, we were to make sketch comedy videos. Yes, this is the same degree that ended up costing me 6 figures over the course of 4 years. I never claimed to make the best decisions in life. In that class, I'd meet another student named Nathan Jaiyeola. We became really good friends. He encouraged me to do stand-up comedy. We hatched plans to make sketch comedy videos. He was even the subject of my very first documentary, a 15 to 20-minute film about stand-up comedy in Philly. From that point, he took a very unconventional path, and he made the 9,000-mile journey from Philadelphia to Cambodia and later Vietnam. He started out teaching English to students there, but eventually found himself drawn back into comedy and doing stand-up comedy for a very different audience in those two countries. We talk about some of those early days in this episode. We talk about some of the struggles that he's overcome over those years. It's a really fun conversation. I had a really great time catching up with Nate. I think you're going to like it. This is episode 17 of The Ground Up Show. This is great. This is good. To have one of the founders of the name of the show on the podcast. The founders of the name.
Yeah.
I think that's as far as we could take it, right?
One of the founding creators of the name.
The creators of the name. It's like when you start with that, it sounds pretty good and impressive.
Two good titles, finding and creating.
Creating of the name.
Mm-hmm. And there's a script. Do you remember that?
Oh my God, dude. Could we find that?
I gave you the only copy.
Did you emailed it to me?
I emailed it to you.
I'm going to check. Can you give everyone an idea of what we're talking about here as I look for the script?
When we were both 19, we had the idea for a web series called Ground Up, about a group of people who are trying to, what was it? To be advertisers?
I got the script.
You had the script. And Matt read the script. I sent it to you.
Yeah.
And then you said it wasn't any good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then you apologized for saying it wasn't any good. It probably wasn't any good.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, oh, it's okay. And then we just dropped it.
That was the end of it?
That was the end of the script.
Oh, no, we didn't work through any versions. But you know what? That's the thing. I've always been honest.
No, it's good. It probably wasn't any good. But can you email that to me?
Yeah, I'm going to forward it to you right now. This is December 13th, 2012.
Jeez.
After all of these years.
Yeah, it's back.
Nice. Yeah.
And does it say Ground Up?
Dude, it says Ground Up, but yeah, it does. But I got to say, the up is in all capitals. So it's Ground Up.
Oh, okay.
There's a subtle difference there.
Yeah, I'll have my...
Shot yourself in the foot. You know what, though, to be honest?
Legal team look at it.
That was actually just a typo in the actual the subject of your email.
Yeah, and so there's
which shows your thoroughness. It says sexy face. Oh my God, I'm like starting to remember this.
Sexy face. What does it say?
Here, I'll pull it up.
Oh, hold on.
Do you want to read it?
No, I don't want to read it.
No, come on. Why not?
Because
this is 2012.
Interior house night. Ground up sexy face. Interior house night. Peter and Sean and Michael are standing on a poorly made set in their kitchen. There is a small table and 2 chairs set up. There is a large red blanket draped against the wall. It is a poor attempt at resembling a table at a restaurant. There is a wine glass in front of the woman. Who is this woman? And a mug in front of Michael. Michael's sitting in the table and dressed as a man out on a romantic date. There is a woman sitting on the table, and she is also dressed up, and seems to be waiting on the other 3. That's a pretty good setup.
It's a pretty good setup. And it goes on from there.
So yeah, I think that's the thing. I think it's supposed to be a group of guys who are trying to make viral videos.
Yeah, they're trying to even partner. Like I think each episode was going to be another different independent business, whether it was a jeweler or it was.
That's right.
I think a jeweler was one that we came up with.
Yeah. I think it was they were trying to make video commercials for independent businesses, like jewelers.
Yeah.
Or like some guy's car wash, and so they try to make these videos.
2012,
which is a pretty good concept.
Yeah, in 2012, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And for whatever, but you know what? It's funny because this was the dream back then for me to create a show, to do sketch comedy. It's sad that, dude, I didn't even respond to it.
No,
I mean, we obviously talked about it in person.
Well, there's some unresolved issues with that, Matthew.
Yeah, with Ground Up, because I took your name.
You should have responded.
Yeah, like
I sent you a script.
You're like, I've still been waiting.
Yeah,
for the response.
It's like we were supposed to film that. But yeah, I'm really curious. I can't believe that you still have that. I should 5 years old.
Yeah, but dude, I have some stuff in here from 2010. Because look, if you look up, remember the whole Produce Paradise thing?
Yes.
From way back when.
Yeah.
Right here, 2007.
And there's a script there.
This is I think this is like a reporter. Hey Matt, can you get on a call tomorrow? 98 Rock FM, Orlando and Tampa. Like this is crazy. There's stuff back here from when my brother and I got sued.
Oh yeah, and
about Produce Paradise.
You guys went on CNN.
We went on CNN,
and then
and
you know, I remember watching the CNN video, and then you promoted your website on CNN.
Did I get fakelaugh.com in there?
You did, yeah. You said, and on my website, fakelaugh.com.
Wow,
thought, look at Matt, because you're on CNN and you still know to plug your thing.
Yeah,
so,
like still nervous as hell.
Still nervous, but like you're like still getting out there.
The best part about that was that I didn't have a shirt and tie and dress up pants. I didn't have any dressy clothes.
You had a beanie.
No, I didn't wear a beanie on TV. I wish. I wish I was like that relaxed.
Yeah, I know. I think you. Well, I don't know why.
No.
Why I'm saying I know what you were wearing. It was like a sweater.
Mm-mm.
Like a sweater with a dress shirt under it, so like a collar.
No,
and then you had like a matching beanie.
No, that's not what I was wearing. I was wearing that might have been the Temple University story they did about me, where I was wearing a Temple hoodie. I think I might have worn a beanie. Beanies were big back then for me because my hair was out of control. I didn't quite know what to do with it.
Yeah, you had a beanie, long beanie stages. I think the whole college,
whole hat and beanie stage. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it was the beanie when it was warm outside. Mm-hmm. Which is like literally just it. I might as well just tell everybody I'm insecure.
It's an aesthetic beanie.
Yeah,
it's purely aesthetic purpose.
Yeah, it was definitely aesthetic. But on that show, I was wearing
Is that mine?
Yeah. A blue or a red. I think it was a red button-up shirt that was 2 sizes too big because it was my brother's, and pants. I was wearing my brother's outfit, and he had bought these clothes, I believe, at Kohl's, and he bought the same exact kind in blue and red. Yeah. Just so you have every color on the spectrum.
He's a man. He knows what he likes. He likes that style, and he wants it in different colors.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so then I wore the red version. He wore the blue version.
It's kind of like a cartoon.
Yeah.
You know, like a cartoon where like we're like the same thing.
Yeah.
But like maybe just like they like change the color.
Yeah. Just swap it in and swap it out.
Yeah.
Just to save on the programming cost to change the color. Or to change the actual shirt.
I think I was going through, like, it was like post Jenko jeans, but I don't know what I was wearing.
At what, in college?
Yeah, I remember. At one point, I remember, because I tried to dress like a hipster, but I just ended up looking poor. So, like, because I remember one time I was wearing forest green sweatpants and a red, like, kind of like flannel, like lumberjack thing. Mm-hmm. And Greg told me I was dressing like mankind, like you know, like McFoley.
Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah, I was trying to seem hipster, but like, especially if you're chubby, it's just weird. And you're wearing sweatpants.
I think it takes a lot of kinks at that time to figure out what is appropriate for you to wear in the world. Like you look at, and I wonder now, it's like, do I have it figured out now? Like, I think simple and basic is always good. But when I look back at, dude, I had a fedora stage in college. I don't know if you were definitely there for that. I don't know if I ever had the courage to wear it in front of you because I would know that you would just make fun of me.
I would have made fun of you.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have. I mean, I was wearing green sweatpants.
You were in green sweatpants.
And not really wearing that much deodorant.
Really? Why didn't you wear deodorant?
Stage, I don't know.
Was it like
I didn't shower a lot.
Really? But I feel like then you should be using more deodorant.
I just had poor hygiene for most of my life.
For most of your life?
Yeah.
You don't know why that is? Is that a deeper question?
No. I just start crying. Just start trembling.
Yeah.
I never liked taking showers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a waste of time.
Yeah, kids don't like to take showers.
Yeah, kids don't like to.
Yeah, so like I would go and my parents say you have to take a shower, and then I would go in the bathroom and turn the shower on.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, because I just didn't want to be in the shower.
Yeah.
And, but you can only do that for so long until you stink. Smell like
and then they're like you haven't
bologna.
been showering, have you? Like, are you doing this right? I had the same thing with books, where a teacher would give us all books, and I just did not like reading, but I would look at the pages and just put my finger through it.
Yeah, you act like... Yeah, and you can do that for other things. You can do that for like conversation. Yeah, like if somebody's talking. I used to do that a lot. I still do a little bit. I'm just going, yeah, and then just doing the motions of listening, but not
actually listening.
Not actually doing it. You don't really have to do it, especially if somebody's just talking and if they don't care. I don't know.
They clearly. It's definitely not going to be a back and forth thing. But then sometimes you hear the tone of their voice change in a way that they posed a question. Yeah, like. And I've been caught off guard like that many times. And then what I usually go to is, oh man, that's tough. Like, what do you think? Yeah. And what are you going to do?
Yeah. And they say, what do you think? And then you say, I don't know. I mean, tell me again what you think about this.
Yeah. So you weren't listening. Like the people that know you the best know that you weren't listening.
That's right. But there are different things you could do there, right? Because even if because I get in that situation too, it's like, oh, what do you think? And then you can just really act like it's a really serious, deep thing. But I don't know. Because, I mean, what are the different things you could do? Right? And then, and they say, oh, well, I could eat pizza or a hamburger. Like, what do you think I should eat?
Great.
You're like, oh,
so okay. That's easy. Now we know what it is.
Yeah, but if you act like it's more difficult than it actually is, then
you're like, why were they
just like a really dramatic dude?
Yeah, why was Nate so concerned
about
what I wanted for dinner?
What I was gonna eat for dinner.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to read that script.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be the first time you read it.
I definitely read it. I definitely remember. I remember envisioning.
I remember.
Yeah, because often at that time I'm a pretty practical person, so I think a lot of times I think about like, okay, is this possible? Can we actually make this thing?
Who's gonna be the girl?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do we know any girls that we could bring into the show? Who do we know who was gonna be?
Did 2012 us know any girls? I don't know.
I didn't. Man, I was reading pickup artist books.
No,
that's where I was.
Well,
they helped. They were good.
Yeah, we all.
You didn't, did you?
Read pickup artist books?
Yeah.
No,
I
never did.
It worked. I was at a party. I don't know if you were there, and John Ruiz. He said, this was my roommate at the time in college, and he said,
"You gonna say his first and last name?"
John.
You just said his first.
No, I did. I made up. That's a fake name.
Let's just call him John Ruiz. As a placeholder.
I think it'll be fine. He's not going to get any hate mail.
Okay.
I think he'll like that he's being referenced, but in a negative light. No, he just yells at me because we're all drinking and there was a party and then it kind of got quiet. He's like, Matt, you read books about how to pick up girls, as I was talking to a girl.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, John Ruiz.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
John Ruiz.
And you know what the funniest part about it was? And then I yelled this back at him. You gave me the book. He was the one that gave me the book.
You read it, but you buy them.
Yeah, you bought it.
I read them, but you buy them.
Yeah, exactly. So that was, it's funny that we even talk like the pickup stuff, those books like that for me. And I think that's kind of how you've always known me, is to be the one that like reads the self-development, self-improvement books.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the beginning. Like I think I read, because I was always a skeptic and a cynic, I think before that time. And then I read Neil Strauss's The Game. It was about picking up girls, which was something that interested me greatly in college, not being good with girls. But it more than just kind of teaching me some fundamentals about how to be sociable with women. It taught me, it kind of drove me to self-development and improvement, and like just kind of reading every book I could on
and being more aware of just the situation itself, you know, and being able to like, oh, here's this situation if you're in a big group, and here's if you're at night or if you're in the daytime. You
understanding body language, and you're in a meeting with somebody, and understanding it's about social awareness. Like, does this person actually want to be talking to me right now, or are they face the other direction and heading towards the door? Yeah, those are definitely things that I picked up. But that was like the beginning. We did stand up together. I didn't do an introduction to you. Do you think we should give you an introduction?
No. No. What, for me to introduce
I can
myself?
introduce you.
Okay.
No. This is I'm sitting down right now with Nathan Jaiyeola, one of my...
I don't know why as soon as you started, I just started checking my pockets. That was like I just got so uncomfortable. I just started like checking for something.
Talk about body language. You're like, oh god.
Like
I'm late for something.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
One of my oldest friends, we met in college in a comedy workshop class. The class, really one of my favorite classes of college, is because we had free reign to do whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
And as a part of it, we ended up working on some sketch comedy videos. And then, did you ask me to go out to lunch?
Probably.
I think you said, hey, you want to go, was it the Commons or whatever, the lunch?
Yeah, because you were obviously interested in doing sketch comedy and shooting videos.
Yeah, you said literally the moment we met within that class was you said a joke somewhere.
Yeah, we were shooting this because each group had to write like a sketch, and so when the one group was performing their sketch, the other groups would help them like film it. And so we were in the Temple TV studio, and it was a sketch that I wrote. It was some kind of like satire thing, but we were shooting it, and I was standing there, and I said, and so there was like this huge, you know, those TV camera like crane things, like there's like, it's really, really long. So there's a camera in the front. I see the crane straight ahead. And so I make some kind of joke, and then I see your face poke from behind the crane, and then you laugh, and then you say something else, and then we start talking from there. Like in the moment of...
Yeah.
And that's probably the most sketch work that we actually did.
We literally met in the middle of a sketch.
We met in the middle of a sketch. And then for the rest of our friendship, we talked about making a sketch.
Some would say we're still making that sketch today.
Some might say we're still making that sketch. So yeah, that's how we met. Film, video, comedy.
I think it was Comedy Workshop.
Comedy Workshop.
Was the name of it.
Yeah, I mean, because that's cool. Because I wanted to take comedy classes, and you obviously did too.
Yeah, it says a lot about you to take that class. It's either I'm really interested in comedy, or I want to get an A in a class.
Yeah, or like I don't care. Or this is gonna be easy.
Yeah, because there was a lot of people in that class that weren't that interested in in comedy. They were just like there.
Comedy.
Yeah, sure. Like this would be easy.
Yeah, but then there's some people who are really serious about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then you invited me out. Like said, hey, let's go get lunch. We got lunch, and you were.
It's very proactive of me.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Yeah, and then we were talking about you doing stand-up. You had done stand-up, I think, a couple months prior, or
I've been doing stand-up for about 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months at that point. And I had been writing jokes secretly by myself. Nobody else knew, but I was writing jokes for the past year and a half to 2 years, if not longer. And then you encouraged me to do stand-up.
Yeah, so you should try it. Yeah, you should go and do stand-up.
Yeah.
But when did you do it?
It was
when did you?
It was within a couple of weeks, I think, of that. It was very soon after that.
Where did you do it?
I did it at Helium. You were there for my first show. Well, you know
Yeah, I remember that.
the first joke everybody always does in stand-up comedy.
Yes.
And what is it?
This is my first time doing stand-up, and then everybody starts applauding, and then you say how it's going to be like your first time having sex.
Yep.
Right? Is that what you did?
Yeah, because there's the play
on
on the length, how long it's going to last.
Mm-hmm.
Yours, I like yours. I still remember yours.
Yeah, it's going to be like my first time having sex. I'm not going to need the whole 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sweating, and my shirt's on.
My shirt's on.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good one.
I think the shirt's on is pretty creative.
Yeah, but then you look at everybody else, and you look at 10 more people, and they do that same thing.
Yeah.
About like, this is my first time.
Yeah, everybody
like
does
me,
that
like,
same
first time
joke.
having sex, yeah.
Helium was like one of the only legit comedy clubs. Other than that, it's like you have the Laugh. What was it? The Laugh.
The Laugh House.
The Laugh House on
LAFF,
South Street.
but that closed down.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, so that was. Now there's a comedy theater. Called Good Comedy.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
It seems like it's doing really well, and there's also there's Helium.
Mm-hmm. Helium's the main one.
I mean, there are a bunch of other places that have shows like big shows, but for consistent comedy, I think Helium's the only one.
I did a documentary about you. That this was the first, right?
Yes, yeah, you did.
The first documentary I ever made. And now my title is documentary filmmaker. That's how I introduce people.
Documentary filmmaker.
That's how it started. You weren't in the class. Was that the comedy workshop class? Or
No.
This is a different class?
You had a class called documentary filmmaking
or something like that.
Yeah, and then you wanted to do a documentary. So throughout the term, it's like you do one documentary.
Yeah.
And so you asked me, could you do a documentary about me doing comedy and trying to get on the rotation at Helium Comedy Club's open mic night?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because I've been going for months, and they wouldn't put me on.
And the parallel there was that there was this successful comedian, and this is when you found out that like, oh, I see my role in this documentary. There was the successful Kent Haynes.
Yeah,
he was on Gotham Comedy on Comedy Central, and he'd done like a couple big shows.
Yeah, so he's a very talented comedian.
He was incredibly funny, and then there was you.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, Matt's making a documentary about me, and who else are you doing? He's like, oh, you're also Ken Haynes. It's like, well, he's in a much better position comedy wise. It's kind of interesting. So.
You think I'm at that level, Matt?
you think I'm at Ken Haynes level?
Yeah.
But then you start to figure out, no.
Yeah.
You're drawing a parallel.
So.
But then, yeah, you made the documentary.
It was about 10-15 minutes long.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was an ending. The ending was probably you kind of walking away, like not getting on the open mic night.
Yeah, a lot of the documentary was me walking to the open mic and me walking away from the open mic.
That showed me actually some comedic timing and knowing that you can actually edit in a way that brings out the comedy. Mm-hmm. So there was like this one scene where there's like this uplifting music, and you're like, I'm pretty excited about tonight. Like, I have a good feeling about it. I think I'm gonna get on the open mic night at Helium, and then it's just music. You walk in, upbeat, and then just direct harsh cut to you crunching into a slice of pizza, and then you slowly put the pizza down, looking away, and you say, "Well, I didn't get on tonight."
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that got a laugh when we showed it to the rest of the class. Like probably one of the first times I showed my work, like a long piece of content like that, to an entire group of people. And I was like, "Oh, cool! Like you can actually like, even though I'm actually not on stage and doing stand up, I can still get people to laugh through my work."
That was cool. I mean, just the documentary itself, it's kind of like, oh, somebody has making a documentary about me. Yeah. Especially if you're not even a year in, it gives you kind of a drive.
I think you were probably hesitant to do it in the way that when you first start out, there's a lot of comedians that have been doing this shit for a long, long time.
Yeah, and then you don't want to show up with somebody who's filming you and say, oh, somebody's doing a documentary about me being a comedian. It's like, oh, you haven't been doing it a year.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was worried about how they would see me, but I don't think they ever saw me.
You never got on Helium.
I don't think that they cared.
You got blacklisted from Helium.
Yeah, I did, but I think it's cool now. I think enough time.
Okay, you're cool. You could go back there and do it.
Enough time has passed.
Yeah,
because I want to stop telling people I got blacklisted because I feel like that is keeping it alive. Mm-hmm. I feel like the more I mention the blacklist,
yeah,
the more maybe I'm just paranoid. Like
maybe
somebody from Helium would be like, "Wait a minute, he's blacklisted," and maybe they've forgotten about it.
Yeah, because you're about to move back to Philly.
I'm going to move back to Philly.
Reestablish within that scene.
Try and reestablish.
I think you should
go back to Philadelphia.
I think you should talk to.
I will.
The owners. Yeah.
I have a plan. You have a plan? Okay, so I'm going to go, and I'm going to try for 2 months to get on.
Oh, okay. So you'll give them some time, and that's more than enough time. I'm going to give them some
time so if I'm blacklisted, I'll know. Uh-huh. And then once I've established that I'm still blacklisted, I'll talk to them.
Yeah.
But if I get on, then
it would be...
It's fine, but I don't even know if it's that. I mean, there are other...
Yeah, there's other opportunities.
There are other opportunities, and...
You can't bank your success on Helium, and that's it.
No, but it is a fine establishment.
Yeah, we love Helium Comedy Club of Philadelphia.
It's a leading provider of quality comedy in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in years, though.
Really?
I haven't been there in years.
Well...
like, even when I'm back now, and then when I went to Philadelphia, I was just doing mics, but not in Helium. Because I wasn't there on a Tuesday. That's when they have it.
Oh.
And they're running Philly's Funniest. And during Philly's Funniest, they have no mics. They have no open mics for the whole summer.
Because basically Philly's Funniest is a big open mic.
It kind of is, yeah. So it's kind of like a huge open mic. I don't know. They've just expanded it now to include the competition.
Yeah. Philly's Funniest, that's a competition that we both have been through. Mm-hmm. I did it once. I don't know if you did it.
I did it once.
A couple times, yeah. It's like for us and for Philly in general, that's like the big show. That's like the Super Bowl of comedy.
In Philadelphia comedy, yeah. If you win that, it's big.
And like it's for beginner comedians, it's probably one of the only times you're ever going to get in front of a crowd of 300 people. Mm-hmm.
And to get a really good video out of it. You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
So if you are in a crowd, if you're in a comedy club and there's 300 people and you're doing really well, even if you don't advance, you have a good video to send and give to somebody. There's
something so interesting about comedy that when there is like, it's a small location like Helium. I mean, still fits about 200 people, right? Mm-hmm. When it's empty, when there's maybe 15 to 20 people and they're scattered throughout, comedy's very hard in that situation.
Which is
so
something
difficult.
I will be seeing tonight.
Yeah, tonight you're going to be doing some open mic nights.
Yeah. And it's the difference between having 300 people who are excited and came for comedy.
Sure.
As opposed to 8 people who, let's say they didn't know comedy was happening.
Or they're comedians themselves waiting to get on.
Or 8 comedians who are thinking about only themselves. I mean, which is just what you do. I mean, maybe you'll pay attention, but 8 people who are thinking about themselves and their sets. I mean, the difference between those two situations, it's crazy.
But also at the same time, a packed out crowd raises the stakes so much higher. Because
somebody bombing in front of a packed crowd is...
it's worse than bombing in a crowd of 15 people.
Yeah. It's 300 people have agreed that you should stop doing what you're doing right now.
Right. Yeah. Like if there was a popular consensus that we could all just agree that Nathan should never do comedy.
It's like
again.
You pulled 300 people in a row and they said, please stop.
Imagine that. Imagine if you went to 300 job interviews back to back.
One after one. Yeah.
Sorry, you should stop doing this.
Yeah. But I mean, if you bomb in front of 300 people, I don't know. I mean, I just think that if it's a big crowd and they're there for a competition comedy, there's excitement. I think it's hard to bomb in front of.
Hard to entirely bomb.
Yeah. Because there's different kinds of bombing, but if you get like that sinking dead silence where people, because there's a dead silence where people don't like you. It's not just that you're not funny. It's like they don't like who you are.
Yeah.
So they're not going to even give you anything. So you can feel that people aren't even smiling. You know, so
like they continue on with what they were doing before the show.
But if you do that in front of 300 people, you should probably take a second look at yourself. at your
like
material.
you know what? Because you're probably, at least with your whatever you're doing with your current routine or your current jokes that you're doing, people don't even like you.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference between
Yeah.
that and people being like kind of feeling bad for you and giving you like kind of fake laughs.
You know, there's a yeah. But if they don't like you, then it's like punishment. That silence is a punishment.
Yeah, but there's no way to learn quicker than just bombing and getting that feedback directly and right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a very easy way to get rid of all your material.
Yeah.
At least if it happens repetitively. The tough thing is though, is that like doing 300 person crowds is not an everyday thing. It's very rare. Like how many times in your life have you done 200 plus crowds or 150 plus?
Less than 5.
Yeah.
Less than 5 hours.
And most of those were early on, like, right? Like, I mean, we did Helium, rooftop.
Yeah, I mean, no, I wouldn't say less than 5. Less than 10. But since I've been abroad, I've had more chances to be in front of, pretty big crowds.
Solid crowds.
Yeah, like after I won the comedy competition in Vietnam, there was like a showcase. And it was a gala event. And I was the opener for the kind of pro comedians who were going through, and so there was about 300 people. It was huge.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it was a gala, so everybody was like wearing suits and stuff like that. So it was really cool. It was one of my favorite moments in comedy.
Wow!
Just that, and the set went really well, and it was nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that because this is interesting, and I'm going to be speaking with other comedians and. I did an interview with James Heskey, who did comedy with us back in Philly.
Yep.
I didn't release it because it's audio only. And then I'm not good with editing just audio. And I was like, when I made the pivot to doing the video stuff, I'll probably have him back on the show. It was a great conversation just about comedy and what it's like to try to make it in New York.
I'd like to talk to him too, even if you want to, we can talk here, like sometime to talk to James about that.
Yeah, man.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and just like all a lot of the comedians from Philly from back then, most of them aren't in Philly anymore, but most of them kind of either take the trajectory of obviously a certain percentage fall off, stop doing it. Some people go to New York, some people become teachers, some people go to LA. Couple go to Chicago maybe. Like Chicago's bigger than Philly, but there's only so many routes that you can take because if you want to do well in stand-up, you have to do lots and lots of stand-up.
Yes.
Your path is different from anybody that I've known from that stand-up world. I don't think anybody ever thought that there was this other option where you go to Vietnam and Cambodia to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah. I didn't go to do it. Yeah.
Right.
I went there because I had stopped. I was like, I'm done. I definitely stopped doing comedy in the States. And I just decided it was a separate decision to go to Southeast Asia, Cambodia. Didn't know anything about it. Went there. And I saw that there was like a comedy scene, and I still missed comedy, stand-up. So I was like, let me just do it. And then it just kind of picked up. It was like the momentum started up again.
When did you first find out about it? You were in Cambodia doing your teaching, and were you at a bar? Or did you like see a flyer for an open mic night?
Somebody was just at work. There's one of the coworkers there is a comedian in Cambodia, and then somebody said, "Oh, you're the comedian." They were talking to him, and my ears kind of perked up, and I was like, "Oh, And so I kind of asked questions around. I said, I want to get in on the comedy in Cambodia. And I got put on one of the monthly shows, and it went well. Just kept on doing it from there. And started touring around Cambodia, and then went to Thailand, and then moved to Vietnam, and kept on doing comedy there.
And in between, you fell in love?
The first month.
The first month you were there?
The first month I met my now fiance in Cambodia. So it was weird because I got there and then it's like, you want love? Boom, here you go. You want comedy? Boom, here you go. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
dude, isn't it unbelievable to think about that you're going to move all the way across the world and you're going to find everything you wanted.
Yeah, it's like the two big things I wanted just like in the first month.
Yeah.
And so
boom, you got
yeah,
it.
boom. It was like a genie.
Yeah.
So then so we moved to Vietnam, and comedy, still going on there. While I was in Vietnam, I went to Hong Kong for comedy and Korea, and then did like a little tour around Korea for comedy, and yeah.
So there has to be drastic differences between comedy in Philadelphia versus comedy in Cambodia.
Yeah, just what's in the States in general. Like, there are a couple differences. One is I noticed that abroad, I've kind of developed more of a. This is like a comedy act. Like I have like a little act that I do, and I do that abroad, and it's like, oh, this is an act, and people just accept it, and they enjoy it. But I found that since I've taken it back to the States, and then I do my act, and people are like, "Hey, stop! This is an act. Give us a conversation. Be real, in a sense." But I kind of like, and so I was wondering about what would it be like to bring it back to America, and that's what I found is that people respond less to the fact that this is obviously comedy, and they kind of want. There's a lot of like ironic stuff that people want like to say. I don't know, like
like
there's like an anti-comedy
that.
kind of thing, or like alternative comedy is bigger.
Isn't this is like, you see this trend in other places too, like advertising and large companies and social media. Everybody wants the disguise of being authentic, even though it's not actually authenticity.
It's still that. I mean, it's still a manufactured thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a commercial, and here in the States, people respond less to, this is obviously a commercial with a catchy jingle. Where abroad, particularly in Asia, they would respond to that. Okay, this is a commercial, but in the States, it would be more like, oh, this is a joke, like almost ironic about it being a commercial, or it's almost so corny that they're acknowledging the fact that it's commercial. They're trying to be funny about it being really corny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
it's like a joke that it's not being authentic.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Right. So here I've seen some comedians are like, hey, how about men and women? Ha 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 ha. Like they're joking about how comedians are
and have acts. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are laughing at that. But if
at what you're trying to do in like a more direct way.
It's more like you're making fun of the idea of stand-up comedy, just like a commercial could make a commercial making fun of the idea of a commercial. Right. But if you did that in Asia, you're like, oh, this is like you're making fun of stand-up. People wouldn't get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you'd like.
It's funny how it doesn't translate both ways though too, because
it's not as established. If it's not as established, stand-up isn't as established, so it's less of a trope that people do. So people, you know what I mean? So
you have to understand the history and kind of how comedy got to its place in America.
Yeah. So you can't really do like you can't do alternative stuff so much. You can, but it has to be more kind of clear cut, I think.
Are you going to change up your act?
Well, I mean, it's like in the same way that it will change, Yeah. And the same way that it changed when I went abroad, it will change when I come back.
It's true.
And I shouldn't resist it, but I should just try. I don't want to abandon certain things that I kind of learned doing comedy abroad.
Like there might be influences there that will subtly change the way you do comedy.
Yeah. I should be willing to change.
Yeah.
That's how you grow.
You achieved a lot of success in Vietnam and Cambodia. Like you get recognized on the street now.
Well, not like always, but sometimes. But it's like you get because the community's smaller. That's one thing, is that the community's smaller. So it's more likely that somebody will recognize you from a show. But just things like that, you get the signs of success sooner doing comedy abroad than you would like here. New York, like doing comedy in New York. Like somebody asking you to headline, or somebody asking you to do 20 minutes. I mean, I think in New York that takes like years.
Mm-hmm. And like
somebody asking you to do 20 minutes,
and nobody's gonna recognize you. Say, "Oh, I saw you do stand up."
Yeah, nobody's gonna recognize you.
There's too many people.
Yeah, there's too many people. So you get those signs of success sooner.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for your confidence.
I remember talking to you about a year ago, and you were like, "Man, I love it. Like my family keeps trying to get me moved back, but I do love it here." Mm-hmm. What was it that got you to want to come back to the States?
Well, it's two things. One is family. It's like I want to be close to my family. I'm getting married, so I want to start a family, and like, in America, I think it'd be very difficult to start a family in Vietnam as a foreigner for me. And I think I've reached a point doing comedy abroad where I can get stage time a little bit, but I can't practice. I need to practice and get better. Mm-hmm. In New York, I can do 4 or 5 shows a night, mics a night, and practice and get better. And I can't do that. I can't develop that much in Vietnam. I can do shows and things like that, but just that practice, that training isn't there. It doesn't exist.
It's going to be a tough transition, I bet. What's your plan? What's the master plan?
Master plan? Yeah. Okay.
I feel like you probably spent a lot of time thinking about this.
This is a master plan. The master plan is I'm saving up for a year, and then in 1 year, me and my fiance are going to move back to the States, and I'm going to be commuting back and forth between Philadelphia and New York 5 nights a week, doing as many mics as I can, and trying to network and get in touch with people in New York and in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Probably going to be taking a sketch writing class at UCB.
Oh, great.
To try and get in that.
Yeah.
While I'm doing that, I'm also going to be working on like things like packets to submit, like trying to get a packet together, just kind of doing everything, stand up and sketch, and just seeing and just immersing myself in that world for a year without working, just doing that.
Yeah. Like you're really throwing it all out there.
Throwing it all out there.
And saying, I really want this to work. Mm-hmm. Just giving yourself the time.
Give myself the time
to make it work.
Because I can't have a job and do that.
No,
with the amount of work that it requires,
Yeah, it's going to take like a lot of self-discipline to wake up in the morning and write every day and to do comedy every night. Like I feel like it takes you jumping completely into it. I honestly think you could probably get like 5 years, if not more, worth of work done in 1 year and progress more in 5 years by having a job and doing it part-time than to take 1 year and just say, this is it. I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. And that 1 year will be really important for me, just to work as hard as I can in every area of comedy that I want to develop in.
So have you thought of any unconventional ways to make it or to progress in comedy?
Yeah, it's hard. I'm trying to think of ways, because it seems like I meet a lot of people and they're like, yeah, I stopped working to pursue comedy full time.
You're like, that was my thing.
That was going to be my thing that gave me the edge up over you.
Have you thought about putting your resume on a cake and sending that?
To who?
To
Lorne Michaels.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. That's like what people do. Like Natalie has had people at her office send cake with the resume on the cake, and people are like, this is creepy. This probably goes too far.
Yeah.
But listen, if your resume doesn't stand alone on a piece of paper,
right.
If a cake has to bolster your credentials,
I'd have to send like my reel on a cake.
Yeah,
that'd be something.
Ooh, put an iPad switch into a cake.
Switch, and then I don't know.
Like the battery died.
Just like, and the cake explodes.
Somebody actually went into an office. Yeah, somebody went into an office. They disguised themselves as like a Postmates, which is like a delivery service in New York. They disguised themselves as a Postmate delivery person and delivered their resume to the person they were applying to, and then like snuck out. That to me is borderline illegal, if not actually illegal.
That is impersonating
What? A delivery guy?
Yeah,
I don't think that's
that's a federal offense.
Yeah, I don't think it is. You can't. Like what if you couldn't impersonate anyone?
Yeah, you just can't pretend to be even like one of those singing gram guys.
That's actually really funny.
What's like those messages?
Yeah, the singing.
What's it called? Like a singing gram?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't impersonate a licensed singogram.
Yeah, because like there's the law. You can't impersonate an officer.
An officer.
You probably can't impersonate a fireman. Although, what about like the strip firemen? They can. Imagine somebody getting arrested for it.
They get in and they're like arrest the fireman, and all the bachelorette ladies are like, woo,
There's another cop there.
Another cop, but he's like fat, he's just like a cop. So yeah, inventive ways. I've been thinking about them, like how am I going to distinguish myself, like besides hard work, because everybody is doing.
Well, I don't. No, I mean, well, here's my recipe for success, and that, as I've kind of crafted it from reading and learning a lot about people who've built something from the ground up, and I wonder how it would apply from the ground up. I have to. That's like the fakelaugh.com when I inserted it into CNN.
Yeah, you've refined your plugging.
Yeah, I think it's literally not even refined. It's I've burned it into my brain.
Yeah.
But so it is one part hard work. Like first and foremost, you got to work hard. 2 parts luck. Not actually, I'm sorry, part 2 luck. Not like this is not a recipe I'm making.
Yeah.
And then the third part would be changing it up. If things aren't working, if you're not getting lucky, if you're not getting your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Like you're still working hard, but then you need to change something up because it's not working.
Yeah.
And obviously that obviously is a very open-ended recipe because it's bound to change, and like hard work is different for different people.
It's the changed up that's interesting, because I was thinking about, all right, I'm going to come here, I'm going to come to New York, and I'm going to go 3 or 4 times a night up, but how's it gonna? It's gonna help me get better, but what's the next step? Plus I don't want to get too far ahead. What's the next step after the next step? I don't want to get.
Yeah, you got to get through the actual work before
because then you get distracted.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, maybe I should do this and that instead. But so one challenge that I've seen is, even in New York, you go up 3 or 4 times a night, but so is everybody else. Everybody else is doing that too. So how do you distinguish yourself? I think you start something of your own. You create a thing of your own. Whether it's your own show, like you start your own mic, or it's like you start your own thing online,
podcasts.
So I'm trying to figure out what that is right now.
And I wonder,
because I don't want to start another mic. I kind of want to start another mic, but it's like.
But then you're also just starting another mic.
No, so just starting another mic, and the only audience will be 6 comedians.
What about? That's the thing, is that like I think you have to do something outside of comedy, but bringing your comedy experience to it. So say if it was a podcast, I don't think it should just be another comedian's podcast. I don't even think it should even be like Nathan the comedian. It should just be like Nathan looks at weird stuff or something like.
Yeah, it's like you have to find something. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, because I'm starting over in a lot of ways and doing the YouTube channel, and like I have to build some cred. And so you think about what would you put in your Twitter bio.
Yeah.
And it does help to say like host of such and such podcast, where it's like it directs people in a certain direction, and it gives you like some credibility, which credibility is important. Certainly you could get to a point in your career where you don't need a Twitter bio, where you don't need to explain yourself. But I think it takes a while to get there. But I think you have to have something outside of like the stand-up comedy and the traditional routes. Because like, obviously there's an untraditional route that you're taking. Yeah,
and that's the thing, is I don't want to be tied down to like this traditional route when there are so many other routes you can go. It's just about finding the right one. Because I definitely want to utilize the scene in New York and Philadelphia for just getting better.
Yeah.
But in terms of like where to take it in like a non-traditional way, I don't know. There's so many different things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what to do about that.
I think it's about building relationships too.
Yeah.
And also like a lot of people try to build a relationship with those who have already achieved like success or have great credentials to their name.
Yeah.
But I think more so it's about collaborating with people who are doing similar things to you.
Mm.
It's like the people that are gonna make it in the next couple years. It's like those are people that you can collaborate with to create something.
Plus, I think it's just about finding people with similar interests, and then they can work on stuff with you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like we met in a comedy class. We had similar interests. We started working on stuff. It's a friendship, and it's like
If our relationship was solely defined on creating sketch comedy,
Yeah, it'd be-
and if that was like if we didn't have a friendship beyond that,
yeah.
how sad would it be for our business partnership that we've like
it'd be sad.
maybe created one sketch that we never released, and that's the extent of it?
Or one email that
One email that was left unresponded.
yeah.
So I do think that's funny, but it raises a good point that if you're not like making friends and enjoying your time while you're doing this, then
Yeah.
it's not worth it to do it. And if at the very least you can meet some people that connect with you to create something bigger, then that would be great.
Yeah, I think if you just have fun and work, I think it's okay. I think something will come of it. It's hard to say what, but
Yeah.
something will come of it.
Do you hear my landlord?
Yeah, she's upset.
Oh, let me ask you a question. So do you know, have I talked about this with you? Do you know my big stretch goal for this podcast besides you? Who I want to have sit down in the chair across from me?
Who?
The Rock.
Okay.
The Rock. He's the guy who I want, as in like my crazy, you know, I think you have to have crazy goals.
Yeah.
I think especially as adults, we stop like kind of pushing ourselves to do something that's crazy and that's out of the box.
Yeah.
And the reason everybody asks, why The Rock? It's hard
Yeah.
with the people talking.
No, that's okay.
So-
I'm going to ask you, why The Rock?
Why The Rock?
Yeah.
There's a couple reasons why I want to interview The Rock. Obviously, the show's called Ground Up, and he's somebody who's redefined himself multiple times throughout his career.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought the WWF star?
WWE.
It was F at the time.
Okay.
I think. I don't know.
Yes. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that this WWE star
Yeah.
would go on to be one of the most successful film stars today, and all the while being apparently very humble. He seems like the most humble, down to earth guy. He always makes time for fans. He's somebody who has a work ethic like you rarely see. He like waking up early. He's got this app called the Rock Clock, and I had it for a bit. And you can schedule yourself to wake up when the Rock wakes up.
God.
You can wake up with the Rock.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
It's kind of weird.
I know, it's like kind of creepy.
That's really weird.
Yeah. So, but what I would say about that is it shows you his work ethic. He
Okay.
gets up at 4:30, 5:30 every morning.
It works out.
Works out. He has like, if you ever seen like his diet, his regimen of food that he eats is unreal. But it's like the dude has technically, in every sense of the word, made it. But he still works hard. It's because I think it's because that's how he got there, was through the hard work, and he actually enjoys that part of the journey.
He likes the process. He
Yeah.
enjoys the process, and he pivoted a lot, right? So, he, when he was in football, what university was The Rock at? University of Miami.
The Rock expert here, our resident Rock correspondent.
I feel like you know a lot about The Rock, right? Oh well, University of Miami. I don't know, just from football. Then it's like, all right, football to wrestling, then wrestling to acting. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it's like Arnold in a lot of ways, and Arnold, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. How do you think I should go about getting in touch with him?
Did you ask your last guest this?
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. She actually,
She knows The Rock.
Antonia, she said she doesn't know The Rock. but she said that she would help me free of charge.
Yeah.
Get a hold of her because she's like a producer, dude. This is what she does. She goes out and gets the story.
She can get in touch with.
But so here, everybody that I have on the show is helping me in some way. And you know what?
I hope you get the rock.
Really?
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be really cool?
Yeah.
Do you want to do rapid questions?
Okay.
Rapid questions, not rapid answers. So
I ask you questions?
No, I'm going to ask you questions. What drives you?
Seeing improvement in myself drives me.
Has there been like a moment where you have been seen the most improvement? Like, I guess, what decisions have you made? What pivotal points in terms of I'm going to go out and do this have been a source for the most growth?
I owe all confidence to my mother who encouraged me to do it. So I would say that.
Let's say someone's stuck. They just graduated college and they're trying to figure out the right path to take, the right next step to take. What can they do today that will set them up for success down the road?
I think they can start trying out what they like and what they don't like, and go from there little by little.
So identify
what you like,
what you actually like,
what you
and
actually
enjoy doing.
what you enjoy doing.
Yeah. How do you face doubt?
I still have a lot of doubt for like how it's going to go on stage, but you just kind of go for it, and then you have less doubt about it. What
One thing would you say of yours are you most proud of that's online that you would send people to?
There's nothing online.
You don't have much online?
No, because I don't want to put stuff online that, because I feel like I'm still growing, and unless it's like a finished.
This is going to be the one thing you have online. This
is going to be the one
interview.
thing I have online.
Yeah, that you can send people to in the future.
No, okay. So, for example, the variety show that we're doing in Vietnam will have sketches that will be online. Those will be finished products that you are ready to show people.
Let's talk about that. What's the monthly show?
The monthly show is a variety show that I'm putting together with a group of people. It's going to be a comedy variety show once a month, and it's going to have stand-up sketches and music. And I found different comedians. Some will be sketch writers, some will be monologue joke writers. And we're working together to put on a show. The first show is July 22nd.
That's exciting. Is there a place where people can go to learn more?
Yeah, if you thank you for that.
Yeah.
If you type the monthly show into Facebook, it will take you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got the monthly show.
Yeah, we got the monthly show.
That's pretty good. All right.
The monthly show is Saigon. It's more
Saigon.
specific,
Yeah, that might help.
Yeah. And then if you type the monthly show Saigon into YouTube, you can see our first promo video for it.
When is it going to come out?
The promo's
out?
The promo video is out.
Nice. That's great.
July, yeah, the promo video is out.
Name one thing. I'm going to cut you off there.
Oh.
Name...
The monthly show.
The monthly show. Name one thing that people should watch, listen to, or read before they go to bed tonight.
People should read a poem.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think you should read a poem, something nice.
Didn't you used to read poetry?
Yeah. Wow, I used to write poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they should definitely read poetry and listen to some kind of nature sound.
Oh, yeah?
That'll calm them.
Do you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll pick like rainforest or just the sound of water. It's nice.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people should like watch the news or anything like that, because it's going to give you all this stuff to think about before you fall asleep. I don't want to read about the situation in Syria before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's like, it's going to give you so much to think about. So I would rather just kind of mellow out.
That's a great point. You need to, and that's what I try to do, like with lighting and everything, is like, how can I slowly prepare for bed as to where I'm not watching like a stand-up special or like Breaking Bad right before I go to bed.
Yeah, with all that stuff's really complicated.
Yeah.
Poetry's complicated too, but it's more abstract, and it can calm you down and give you.
Any closing thoughts? Any last words?
Nothing. Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy.
You're happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I'm happy that you're happy.
I'm happy that you're happy, and I'm happy that you're gonna have The Rock here, and that you're gonna. And good luck in Los Angeles.
I'm happy that we've been friends for after all these years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're still like, I don't know. Yeah, it's nice. We're still working on stuff.
Still plotting.
We're still plotting. That's how we're gonna get The Rock.
Cool, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Is that the posture you want when we end the show?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh man, it's been great. Thanks for being on the show.
It's been
all right, great.
good.
We're gonna